they would not want to be involved in that fight. Either they didn't want to kill other Hmong, or they were afraid of other Hmong killing them. So they would get out of there. So I don't think the Hmong Thais were really a heavy force against the CPT, but they were there sort of defending the villages, more like that.
I got a question about the amnesty policy of the Thai government. Seems pretty effective. And my question is that, can you educate the Lao governments to apply the same sort of policies to end its insurgents?
Well, okay, so you have to understand that the reason why the Thai amnesty was so effective was because, well, the Hmong CPT had lost. The CPT had lost a lot of battles militarily, and the Chinese had stopped giving them support. So there was a lot of things that were going, and they were also internally fighting with each other over politics. There were different factions, and so there was a lot of political issues, and so that obviously made the amnesty a lot more attractive because they were already, I don't think it would be nearly as effective if they were doing well. If they were winning battles, I don't think it would have been, but because they were already on the defensive and they'd already lost a lot of battles, so yeah, I think that that it might, something like that in Laos could be possible, but I think that the problem in Laos is and maybe similar with the CPT, is that the Lao Hmong would not believe the government. If the Lao government went, I mean, this has actually been the case. I mean, many in Laos who did not give up for many, many years, it's because they didn't believe. They believed that if they gave up, they would be killed, right? So the reality is that they weren't killed. The ones that gave up were not killed, but they believed that.
So the amnesty policy of Thailand is pretty effective in an honest way. But what about
Well, no, but I should also explain. They gave them 15 rai of land and a place to live. Now the reality is that right now, the last couple of years, a lot of Hmong in Thailand, former Hmong CPT, are putting on their CPT caps and protesting in Bangkok and saying, you promised us 15 rai of land and you never gave it to us. So a lot of them gave up and they never received the land that the Thai government promised them, and now they're protesting for it in the last couple of years.
Thai CPT is that the equalities offered to the Thai governments through the Hmong CPT is that equally distributed to the Thai CPT. So is there any difference in terms of equalities?
I think that they're being treated the same as other Hmong, but I think that all Hmong were badly treated in Thailand. Even now, it's, you know, if you're a Hmong in Thailand, you almost always change your last name to have a Thai last name because you can't get a job.
For education.
For education as well. So there's a lot of problems that Hmong in Thailand have, you know, in terms of that. And so, you know, there's still these are. If you look, there are no Hmong Thai Hmongs who have high political positions, not at all. And there's still a lot of things. I mean, most Thais still think Hmong people are opium growers, destroyers of the forest, former communists. You know, they have all these negative stereotypes that still persist now. I mean, I went to some villages and talked to Thai people. They thought that every single Communist Party of Thailand were only Hmong. They thought there were no Thais at all. Because that's the way the Thai government also constructed it, right? These Hmong are foreigners. They are not Thais. So we're fighting against a foreign force that's being supported by China, and these people aren't really Thais, and therefore we are justified to kill them or do whatever we want to. So this is effective. Anytime you have a war, you have to create propaganda like that, you know? And so that's what's happening.
Did you have an opportunity to interview Hmong CPT members? And the follow-up question would be, if you did, how did you keep if you kept confidentiality of like the identities of these people, of the CPT members?
So I have interviewed a number of former Hmong CPT, and you know, the funny thing is that they're not trying to keep their identity secret. In fact, one guy has a Facebook page where a lot of those photos that I put up there at the very beginning came right off his Facebook page. He's got them up there. He's got pictures of him in the hat. A lot of these former Hmong CPT, for many years after they gave up, they didn't say much. They were afraid of the Thai government, right? But now they're thinking back and they're thinking, hey, you know, we had every reason to join the CPT. We were prejudiced. We were treated so badly that of course we had a right to join them, and we shouldn't be ashamed of it. So now they're quite happy to put on their caps and go up and say, yeah, we're members of CPT, and that's just the reason why. And so there probably are some people out there that would not want their identity used, and if they did, I would definitely respect that. You know, if they, but the ones that I've met are pretty public about it, and they go to protests, and they're quite happy. They actually asked me to publicize this issue. They want the world to know how they are being mistreated, and that they have a reason to fight for their land. That's another. I've given that presentation another time, not. Paul?
It seems somewhat ironic, and maybe it doesn't actually play out this way, but Thailand has Hmong allies in Laos who are anti-communist and whom they are supporting, and yet they don't trust the Hmong right in their own backyard. Did you get any sense that they saw any dissonance or irony in that situation, or how they made sense of it?
I think that they kind of thought that, yeah, I think they just were very simple-minded about it. All the Hmong in Thailand are communists, and all the Hmong in Laos are not communists, and they somehow thought that being on one side of the border or the other side of the border was the difference between whether you were communist or not. I mean, it sounds awfully simplistic, but I think that's the way they kind of saw it. I mean, they'd known General Mao for a long time. I think they probably thought that his leadership had been important in making sure that people were not communists. And they didn't know about, there was also a lot of Hmong communists in Laos, you know, in the border with Vietnam, but I don't think they thought much about those guys. And so they just, I think they worked with the Hmong Lao a lot, you know, in fighting against the communists, and they used it to collect information. These were people that they worked with on a daily basis. I think they trusted them. I think they trusted them quite a bit.
Is there potentially a fourth group, or were there 4 groups in this?
There was 4 groups already.
See, I can't keep anything straight today. Of Hmong soldiers who were either Chow Pha or Neo Home, or maybe even in very rare cases, Hmong who had migrated to the United States and yet went back to participate in anti-communist activity, who were recruited by the Thai, and who are now in Thailand, and perhaps thought that they too might enjoy the award of Thai citizenship or other
So
benefits.
I have not heard of people coming back from the U.S. for the specific purpose of fighting for the Thais and getting citizenship. I've not heard of that. However, there's a few odd things that did happen. Some of the Hmong Thai Communist Party of Thailand people, when they left the Communist Party of Thailand, they joined Pakao Hur's Chow Pha to fight against the Lao communists. Seems a bit odd. Apparently, he was able to convince some people to join him. The other thing is that there's a whole bunch of Hmong Lao that are now in Thailand with Thai citizenship who fought for the Thai government not against the CPT, but against the Lao government when Thai was having border wars. So Wok Lao, 3 villages, there's a few border wars which again, the Thais were getting beaten badly by the Lao, and they got the Hmong to come in and help them to fight. And they were given citizenship for that. A lot of Hmong got citizenship. Also, some Hmong were lied to by the Thais and didn't get citizenship. But mostly, a lot of them did get citizenship as a result of it. So a lot of Hmong have received citizenship from Thailand for fighting for them. Fight for your citizenship. Basically, that's the. So I had a question over there. Yeah?
Yeah. You mentioned that I suppose the Thai CPT received major technical support from China, and then later on Russia as well after the Sino.
Only the Green Stars received.
Right.
So just to give a bit, just before you, let me just give a bit back, then you can answer it. So actually, initially when the CPT was involved in Thailand, they initially were on, even though they were getting Chinese support, they were also friends with Laos, and they had bases in Laos as well. Their training bases, their political bases were inside Laos. Once the falling out between Vietnam and China took place in '79, then the Chinese, then the Lao sided with the Vietnamese, and then at that point, they kicked all the CPT out of Laos. And then CPT that was another thing that caused CPT a lot of trouble, because they lost their sort of back area, their retreat area was all of a sudden gone. And then they set up this opposing CPT called the Green Stars. So they had the Red Stars and the Green Stars. So it was very complicated. Okay.
That leads right into my question.
Okay.
It seems like the fate of the CPT in Thailand was heavily influenced by foreign politics.
Definitely.
And foreign relations between different communist countries. And when you look at successful communist movements across the world, whether you're talking about China or Vietnam or Cuba, there seems to be some kind of indigenous leadership, some kind of indigenous uprising from within the country itself, in China's don't, in Vietnam is Ho Chi Minh, in
Yes.
Cuba,
No, you're-
so on and so forth.
Right, no, you're absolutely right. This is one criticism of the CPT was very few people can name prominent CPT leaders. Like, who's the Ho Chi Minh of the CPT? Like, where are these charismatic leaders in the CPT? There's not many of them. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that the Thais were able to present to their population this vision of the CPT being a foreign organization. They were able to convince a lot of Thais that this was a foreign-led organization, foreign-supported, foreign-armed, and even that the fighters were foreign, and that was very effective in eventually beating them.
And I think that's really interesting because, well, my question, I think you kind of answered it, was there any kind of indigenous communist efforts within Thailand?
Well, the reality was there was, but actually the very beginning of the Communist Party of Thailand, the 1930s, was dominated entirely by Chinese. Chinese in Bangkok, Chinese Thais, and later on Vietnamese in Thailand as well in the 1940s. So the real Thais didn't really get involved in the CPT until the 1960s. Prior to that, they'd have a CPT meeting and it was all in Chinese, and then somebody would make comments like, well, one of these days we should learn how to speak Thai, or we should learn how to read Thai, because then we might have a chance to convince other. That was the way it was in the early years.
Yes, I have a question about today. As Thailand today said, like red t-shirts, yellow shirts, and where's the Hmong in northern Thailand? They are in red t-shirt or yellow.
You know, I'll answer that. So I talked to a lot of so Ket Noi is a big place, and I know the president of the Hmong Association of Thailand, and I asked him and I asked other Hmong leaders, who are you supporting, the red shirts and the yellow shirts? And you know what they said? They said, we've been used too much by Thai politicians throughout history. They've used us as pawns. The CPT used us. The Thai government used us, abused us. We've been used by everybody. We're not going to join either side. So what they've told me is that they're not joining either the yellow or the red because they're afraid of being on the losing side or being used by a mainstream Thai political group. They're more interested in dealing with their own problems of land and trying to get those rights back. And they don't see how aligning themselves with one side or the other is going to help them.
And I heard people say that the red t-shirt is more communist. The yellow is more like with the king. Actually, we're not sure that which way is communist. And my second question is...
There are some members of the red shirts who are former Communist Party of Thailand members. But Thais, not Hmong, I've not heard of any Hmong that are heavily involved in that. And I think there's also some in the yellow shirts who are formerly communists as well. There's a few at least. It's a very complex issue, so I don't think we can actually say, but it's true that the red shirts are more populist. They believe more in populist politics, so they would tend to be, the poor people tend to support them more.
And last question is, actually we worry and concerned about our Hmong people in northern Thailand involving with the Yama. Because a lot of people get killed, a lot of people
that's
get
methamphetamines,
jail.
you know, like Yama.
And what do you think about it? I think that Thai government don't do enough to prevent our Hmong people to get involved with the Yama.
It's true. This is another big problem that the Thais are facing. I mean, the Hmong are facing in Thailand is they're being stereotyped as being drug dealers. And it's actually true that a lot of Hmong are caught selling methamphetamines. And I don't know who you blame for that. If this is blaming the Hmong, or you know, is the Thais not doing enough to stop them, or you know, I don't know. I'm not sure how you know, it's a problem right now, and I don't know what the solution for that is. But the other thing is that they tend to, when they put them on the media, they'll show, oh, these people were caught, you know, selling Yama, and these are Hmong people. And so then all the Thais see it on the TV, and they say these are Hmong, and then of course it contributes to this stereotype, which also makes it more difficult for Hmong to get jobs, because everyone thinks they're drug dealers. And then this, of course, maybe makes them feel like they have no other options but to do more drug dealing, right? When you have no other option to get a regular job because you're discriminated against. So this is a very difficult issue.
And I
Time for
think,
one more short question. Yes, please.
I was just wondering, I'm not sure if you said this, and I'm trying to understand that last point, but did you say that there's no documented history of this in books or video yet? And is there going to be? that type of
The
resource
only,
is available?
there is, Yupeng Chong's documentary, which is by far the best thing out there now. So I would highly recommend that if you want to see. And he deals with both sides to some degree. It's very personal. He's got interviewing both of them about both sides, but it's more individual. He doesn't really deal with the larger political context. And he doesn't deal with the Lao Hmong who got involved in helping the Thais. He doesn't deal with that. So this is not being written up anyway. So I'm going to write it up eventually, but I'm still doing more research on it, so I'll try to get more information.
All right, well, first of all, on behalf of the Center for Hmong Studies, Dr. Baird, I present you with the certificate in appreciation of your presentation here
Thank
today.
you, sir.
Thank you all for coming, and I think before we leave, Mr. Tong Bang might have an announcement or two for us. So,
Alright, so just a quick announcement before you guys head out to your next session. If you guys are going to the workshop where it's located in